Welcome back to How to Cake It. I'm Yolanda, and you know what's wrong with birthdays? They're only a day. Exactly. It should be a birth month. This whole month, we are celebrating Fingerlings' birthday, so I am caking a giant Polly. This is Polly. That's right, monkeys aren't the only game in town. There are Panda Fingerlings too. You guys are awesome. Awesome, the original. A bit later on in this video, I'm gonna tell you how you can win the ultimate Fingerlings prize pack. Thanks to Wowie for supporting and collaborating with us on this video. Now let's get started. To make my Polly cake, I baked 6.5 pounds of my ultimate vanilla cake, and I dyed it yellow, teal, and purple and swirled it together. And now I'm going to level them and cut the caramelization away from the bottom. Well, you know who's next. Sir Squeeze came in and helped me simple syrup all 5 layers of my cake. Can you pass him to me? I'm so sorry. It looks smart. Don't be gentle with him. You woke him up like that? Sir Squeeze gets a starring role in this cake. You're gonna see how a little bit later. And because of that, in honor of Sir Squeeze, he's on sale right now at howtocakeit.com. Swag included. It's time to fill and stack my cake, and I'm going to begin by building 2 cakes. I fill and stack my 3 6-inch round layers with Italian meringue buttercream, and then I fill and stack my 2 5-inch round layers with Italian meringue buttercream and put them in the fridge to chill. These cakes are gonna be Polly's body. Yeah, shake that body.
Oh wow, she's really twisting.
Shake that body.
That works.
Shake that body.
I wonder if that's an actual command.
I don't know, but if it is, thank you to the person who included that in Polly. The next thing I have to do is carve Polly's body. So for now,
That sounds terrible.
I'm sorry. Shape. I'm gonna use my serrated knife, well, to shape her body. It's kind of like pear-shaped.
Oh no.
I'm like, are people gonna be offended? Like, that's her shape. I'm sorry. And she is owning it. Shake that body.
She loves her shape. I love it.
I love it. Confidence. Once I'm happy with the shape of Polly's body, I remove the smaller cake from the top. I add a board to the bottom of the bottom cake, and then I place dowels inside that are the exact height of the cake in a circular formation. And now I add a board on top of those dowels, glue it down with a little bit of Italian meringue buttercream, place the smaller cake on top, and now I'm going to use a very large dowel and put it right through Polly's body. This Polly is just cake, but I would never do that to you, Polly. Rest assured. Now I have another prop that I can't wait to use.
Oh. Oh, is this crumb coat and chill?
Mm-hmm. Crumb coat and chill. Crumb coat and chill. Crumb coat and chill. Crumb coat and chill.
Is this replacing the crumb coat and chill dance?
Yes, I no longer dance. I'm megaphone. While my crumb coat is chilling, I'm gonna take the opportunity to make Polly's arms and legs and head and tail. She has a tail. It's not like a monkey's tail. It's a cute little tail. I've decided to make these parts out of sculpting Rice Krispies, just like I did with Mia. To shape Polly's head, I used 2 of my Fat Daddy-O's hemisphere pens. Then I removed it from the pen and sort of flattened the bottom and created her contour, you know, her panda contour. And I used some more mixture and built on top to create her, I don't think it's a snout unless you're a pig. Pig fingerlings. You can have that, Wowie. Next, I move on to creating her legs. Whenever I have to create 2 of the same thing, I like to do it sort of at the same time or one after the other. This way I can ensure they look as similar and symmetrical as possible. Then I move on to her arms, and then of course, her cute little tail. Her tail's pretty easy to sculpt. Start there. Oh, her ears! Oh my goodness, Polly! Hello, I know, you have ears, beautiful pink ears. I almost forgot your beautiful pink ears. If you like symmetry and contouring, share this video. I know you would share it.
Would it be symmetrical contouring? Is that a thing?
Symmetrical contouring. I just like the word symmetrical, period. Put it in front of anything. Now that I have all the pieces that I need, it's time to crumb coat and chill. Can I get a crumb coat?
Crumb coat!
Can I get a chill?
Chill!
Can I get a crumb coat and chill?
Crumb coat and chill! I feel like we should be step dancing to this.
Well, okay, so next time, you two, choreograph something. My crumb coat is chilled, and now I have to ice the body and all the Rice Krispie parts and chill again. Over on How to Cake It Step by Step, we have another new family member named Mickey. Yay! And she has made a gorgeous mermaid sweet table. You can check it out here or click the link. Make sure to head over to that video, give it a watch, and give Mickey a warm welcome to our cake community. It's fondant time! To cover her body, I roll out a piece of fondant that is wide enough to go all the way around her and tall enough to cover her up. And then I quickly pick up the piece and wrap it around. It was like I whip around.
That is, again, a wonderful news, like, whatever that you call that. Reenactment?
Yes.
Yeah, one more time.
And make sure you're placing the seam at the back. So where the fondant overlaps itself at the back, hold up a ruler nice and straight, cut through both layers of fondant, and remove the excess. And then at the top, just sort of gather the extra and remove it, and use your smoother to really flatten that top because her head's gonna go there. Now I can cover both parts of her head, which are the same color as her body. So to cover the back of her head, I have it like dome side up, roll out my fondant, drape it over top, smooth it, and then just cut away the excess nice and neatly at the bottom. Now when you cover the front of her face, you want to be careful because her little nose is sticking out and it makes it easy for fondant to rip and tear. So you just want to drape it over quickly and immediately work on that part, getting the fondant secured so the weight of the rest of the fondant doesn't cause a hole. The next thing I want to do is make the markings over her nose. So she has that typical animal thing. What do you even call that?
I don't know. It's like an indent that goes
Yeah.
there. We kind of have a little...
We kind of do, but not as much.
No.
You know what I love about Polly? She loves to eat and she loves to nap. Take a nap, Polly.
Oh, wow. She's instantly...
I wish my son went to sleep this fast. Jocelyn, if you had to choose between a slice of delicious cake and a nap, what would you choose?
Well, this cake.
You eat other people's cake? I had to create a base that this cake could live on. We filled a Sir Squeeze bottle with a resin that would harden essentially and make him solid and sturdy. So I used the bottom of an old turntable that I had. It had been horribly stained. Now it's time to move Polly's body onto my base behind Sir Squeeze. I spread a little bit of royal icing onto the base, carefully pick up her body and move her. Now I can begin to cover Polly's limbs and add them to the cake. So once my fondant is rolled out, I have a sponge, a nice floral sponge close by. I drape it over the limb, smooth it on, and then I quickly hold the sponge on top, flip the limb over, and gather the fondant around. And then I cut away the excess. I want to cover the entire limb. Polly's arms, legs, ears, and tail are a dark, they're a hot pink.
Some people coordinate eyeshadow and shoes or handbag. Others coordinate eyeshadow and lips.
And limbs. I haven't come that far.
I've never tried that.
I'm not that fashion forward. And then to cover her ears, I'm going to actually cover them in parts. So the first thing I do is roll out a tube or a cord of pink fondant, or two of them rather, and I wrap it around the top of her ears. The next thing I do is cover the inside of her ears. So I roll out a thin piece of hot pink, smooth it onto the inside, and then I carefully use the tip of my paring knife to trim away where it meets that fondant cord. To cover the rest of my ears, I roll out some hot pink fondant again. I lay the ear on top, and then I wrap the fondant around the ear. And then I just cut it away where it meets that inner sort of indent. And now I want my ears to set with a bit of a curve. So what I do is I lay them into the very pans that I made Polly's head with. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when my next cake is out. Here's a little tease of what it is. Leave a comment below if you think you know. I will add her legs to the body first. I'm going to insert a dowel, well, right through the bottom of her body so that two ends stick out and will hold onto the legs. And then I'm also gonna put an extra dowel on each side. So 2 dowels will hold the leg. I always like to put a bit of royal icing at the base to glue it onto the body. I also put some to help glue it onto Sir Squeeze. It won't be as effective, but I can't use real glue. You know, I need to place a dowel through Sir Squeeze to help Polly's hands stay in place. And it's as fun as it sounds. It doesn't induce anxiety at all.
She's excited.
She is.
I wonder if Polly's a baker.
Well, now that she knows Sir Squeeze,
True.
you know, they have a close relationship.
They have a very close relationship.
Yeah, don't tell anyone, but Vanelle was jealous. I'm gonna use my good old masking tape trick to help hold these limbs in place while the royal icing sets. I can add her tail to her body now. The masking tape doesn't get in the way, so I just spread a little royal icing on the back of her tail and press it on in place. I placed Polly's body in the fridge to keep it cool because now it's time to work on her face. I used my template to cut out 2 ovals from the hot pink fondant, and I glued them on symmetrically onto her face on either side of her nose. To make her eyes, I'm using black fondant. I'm gonna shape it in some small Fat Daddy-O's hemisphere pans that I have. You need symmetrical, even eyes. That's what I always say. I now place these small pans in the fridge to get that fondant nice and chilled. I also have to start to make her nose. So I take more black fondant and I just use my small fondant rolling pin to sort of round out a little hump. I'm not shaping the nose just yet. I want to chill it. Very hot in here. Now that the hot pink ovals are on her face, I want to use a circle cutter to create a cavity where her eyes will go. I wish there was a prettier word for cavity.
Me too.
You know, but there isn't. I use circle cutters a lot. They come in my baker's bundle, which also includes Sir Squeeze. And this week at howtocake.com, it's 20% off. So I turned the back of her head over onto a sponge. It was kind of a bit of a balancing act. I have the other half of her head ready to go. And then I quickly pour on some melted chocolate, spread it with a small offset spatula, pick up the front of her head and glue it together.
I love that. That was exciting.
Yeah, it was. The footage is going to be super exciting.
Yes.
And then you need to work quickly to just make any adjustments that you need. Polly has a seam, but this seam is too harsh. It's too harsh of a seam. It's not too harsh of a seam for the seam hider. The seam hider. She will take on any seam. Makes some fondant paste. I take some of my light pink fondant, I add clear food grade alcohol to it and mix it up with my spatula, just like an artist. And then I use that paste to fill in my seam all the way around the head. Time to add her eyes. I think they're a little too thick. I'm going to use my circle cutters once again, pick the right size, adjust the size of my eyeballs. I just cut around. The fondant is nice and chilled. It has to be in order to do this. And I cut away the excess. I didn't want her eyes to be like bugging out, you know what I mean? And then for her eyelids, I rolled out some dark pink fondant really thin, laid a strip on top of each eyeball, and then curved it around. So I'm quickly gonna cut out 2 rings of dark pink fondant and place them on the inside of that cavity, just in case we see around the eyeballs once I add them. Once you're happy with her eyeballs, you can glue them onto her head, use a little bit of royal icing on the back, and just sort of gently place them. Now I need to add her nose, but first I need to shape her nose. So I take out that little sort of hump of black fondant. I use a heart cutter to cut out a heart, and then a circle cutter to cut away the pointy part of the heart. And then I just use my knife to sort of touch it up and recreate Polly's nose shape. I'm going to use dowels to support her ears in her head. So I hold the ears up, check for placement, adjust them if I need to, add 2 ears. I'm taking her body out and I'm removing the masking tape. It felt like a ribbon cutting ceremony. And now I'm gonna use a sculpting tool to just make the indents that are her fingers and her toes. To recreate Polly's shimmer, I made a mixture of clear piping gel, which I thinned out a little bit with clear food grade alcohol. And then I added some pink shimmer. And now I'm gonna use a paintbrush to paint it all over her arms, her legs, and her tail. I need to get her ready for her head. At this point, I need to add 4 dowels into her body, insert them into her body around that main dowel. And now I can very carefully place her head on top. I spread a little bit of royal icing on top of her neck and carefully line up the pilot hole with the dowel and place her head down. Guys, Boris has something to tell you. Giveaway alert! Not only can you win the ultimate Fingerlings birthday prize pack, but by entering this contest, you can also support Wild Aid. Woohoo! Woohoo! Here's how. Click the link in my description to head to the Instagram post with all the details. All you have to do is repost the pic with the hashtag FingerlingsBirthday, tag @Fingerlings, and you are entered. The best part is that for every person that posts, Fingerlings is donating $1 to Wild Aid. Woohoo! Yee-hee! Guys, click that link below now and enter.
The ultimate Fingerlings birthday prize pack!
I love this. For her hair, I'm using pink cotton candy. Here's a little insider tip. Cotton candy just starts to dissolve in humid air. These are facts. It's because I had to replace it several times while Cody took beautiful shots of her. It just, I swear, Jocelyn, it just started like, it was like I was holding a curling iron to her cotton candy hair. Thanks again to Wowie for sponsoring this video. And thank you, Polly. Click here to watch Mickey's Mermaid Sweet Table and click here to watch my giant juice box. I'll see you next week.